Tinner's not still on about you moving in the wool pack, is he?
He never stops. Keeps on about how comfortable I'll be, how convenient.
Oh, aye. Convenient for him, he means. You'll be on call 24 hours a day, Mum. What have you said?
I told him I'll think about it. Mind you, Nick, you must admit it would be convenient for you and Elsa, having the house to yourselves for a change.
Yeah, well, don't let that influence your decision.
True, though, isn't it, love?
Oh, I can't deny it. It'd be nice to be back by ourselves, but you've come in handy, Mum. I don't know what we'd have done in the early stages, what with Alice playing up.
Yeah, well, she's much better now, isn't she? And Elsa seems far more able to cope.
Well, look, I don't want to make your decision for you, but you're welcome to stay here as long as you like, Mum.
Oh, whoever's that this time in the morning? Oh, Kath. Come in, love.
Mum, I'm sorry to call at this hour.
You okay, Kath?
Yeah, I'm fine. Why shouldn't I be?
All right, then. Well, I'm going to go to work. I'll see you two later.
Sure, love.
See you.
You've been staying at Jan's again?
I expect they call it coming home to Mum.
Oh, love, come in now.
I can't stay there any longer.
I know, love. I know.
Is it this weekend you're off to Leeds again?
Yeah, I thought we'd go on Friday night, stay over until Sunday afternoon. Catch up on all the gossip.
Won't Michael feel a bit left out?
No, why should he?
Well, last time you went, well, he wasn't too struck, was he?
Yeah, well, he'll be all right. It's bound to be a party, something we can go to. He'll really enjoy it.
As long as he hasn't got flu.
What do you mean by that?
If you ask me, it's all imaginary. I've heard of 3-day flu at 3 weeks. Oh, talk of the devil. Thought I'd have to start without you.
Sorry I'm a bit late, Joe.
You're all right.
I still feel a bit rough.
If you ask me, lad, you need a good dose of night nurse. And, I mean, the stuff that comes out the bottle.
Are you still ill?
Of course I am. What's he look like? Still, I'm learning not to expect any sympathy around here.
I've told you, you need to get yourself a doctor. You're not going to get better just feeling sorry for yourself. And what about Leeds? I mean, it's all been arranged. Alison's expecting us. She's even found us somewhere to sleep. Michael?
Look, I'm sorry, Rachel, I really am, but I won't be well enough to go this weekend.
I'm sorry to drag you into all this, Elsa. I'm sure you aren't interested.
Of course I am, Kath. And I'm sure you've done the right thing. Well, if that had been me, I'd have made him sleep on the blooming sofa.
Yeah, well, I prefer any sofa to sleeping with Chris ever again.
What did he actually say, Kath? Must have been pretty bad to make you just walk out.
No, it doesn't matter.
Look, love, it does matter. I want to know what happened last night.
I can go and feed Alice if you want a private word with your mum.
No, I'm all right, don't worry.
Listen, love, anyone can see you're not all right. Come on now, why don't you tell us?
We'd had quite a pleasant evening, really. Pleasant compared with just recently, anyway. Chris seemed much happier. And I must admit, I felt more at ease. Anyway, we went to bed. And he'd obviously misread the situation. I still didn't want him to touch me, Mum, honestly.
But he did.
It was awful. He kept trying to kiss me. I tried to push him off, but he turned so nasty all of a sudden. I didn't know whether to cry out or what. I just felt so helpless.
You mean he tried to rape you?
Is that what you're trying to say, love?
No, I've told you, he misread the situation, that's all.
You sure you didn't lead him on, love?
I didn't, Mum, honestly.
That's a terrible thing to say, Caroline. You can see the state she's in.
I just want to be sure, Elsa. It's a serious accusation.
Well, I'm ringing the police.
No, Elsa, please don't do that.
You can't be allowed to get away with it,
I
Kath.
don't want the police dragged into it. Tell her, Mum, I just want to forget it. He didn't rape me.
Are you sure he didn't?
Yeah, I'm sure. I managed to get out of bed and I went and slept on the sofa.
And he didn't try to follow?
No. I can't go back there. Never.
Thank God. At last.
Where's Kathy? You haven't seen her, have you?
I'm not interested in Kathy. Look, King, this is your job. I need you here. How do I know which of these bills have been paid?
Look, I can't be everywhere at once, Frank. The horses have to be exercised, the farrier's due. It's gone 9 o'clock and there's no sign of Kathy.
Perhaps they're having a lie-in.
Yeah, well, we could all have a lie-in if we chose, but there is work to be done.
Exactly. According to this, Corley hasn't paid us in 3 months. I mean, what am I running here, a blooming charity?
If you'd consult your computer, which is what you're supposed to do, you'd find they have paid. And why don't you just leave it to me?
Because you're never here. You're always arty-tarting in the stables.
Arty-tarting.
And where the hell's Chris? I mean, I can't run this business on my own, you know.
And I've told you, Frank, I am not ubiquitous.
Nor am I. I'm Church of England.
It's just not possible this weekend, Alison. I've said I'm sorry. Alison? Oh, I've gone and upset her now.
What's happened? Change your plans?
Oh, it's Michael. He's just not well enough to go to Leeds. It wouldn't be fair to force him. Oh, don't look like that, Joe.
It's about time you took the hint, Rachel. He just obviously doesn't want to go.
That's not fair. Of course he wants to go. He's not very well.
All right, Joe, keep your trap shut. Just seems to me, though, that every time you mention university, he goes all pale and starts sneezing. Do you think he's becoming a hypochondriac, ill when it suits him?
Michael is not pretending. Anyone can see that he's ill.
There are such things as doctors, Rachel, and I'll tell you another thing. If he's always this unfit for work, he can get his cards.
Dolly! Dolly, you've saved my life. You're not going anywhere near the market, are you?
I wasn't, no.
What I mean is, could you?
Looks as though I've got no choice.
You could die waiting at that bus stop, Dolly. Nobody would ever notice you.
Don't you think it's time you got a car of your own, Eric? Not everybody these days is a good Samaritan, you know?
Ah, but that's it. I'm getting one. I've persuaded your good friend and mine, Charles Aindar, Esquire, to let me have a council vehicle. He'll be at the market when you drop me off.
He's become very generous all of a sudden.
Well, he could hardly refuse. I did put up a good case. And life without wheels is quite unbearable.
Oh, of course it is. Well, I'm sure you'll be getting a Daimler or a Porsche, perhaps,
I'm not asking for the moon, Dolly. Just a nice gleaming GTX would do me very nicely.
Huh? And how long have I got you for this time?
Not for long. I've got to go back out in an hour, exercise another of the horses.
I thought that's what you've just been doing.
Well, I have, but there are 6 to do.
Can't we get any help? What about Joe Sugden? Surely he could. Give him a ring.
It's not a bad idea.
Any news of Kathy?
Now, don't blow your top. She won't be in for a few days. Caroline Bates has just phoned.
Oh, terrific. So now you're having to divide your time more than just today?
Yep. And what's more, she's staying with Nick and Elsa for the time being.
Why?
It's none of our business, Frank. She and Chris have had another row, as far as I can make out.
This is ludicrous. I need everybody here, Kim. This business is going to go straight down the pan if we're not careful.
I do happen to have a business myself, Frank, and that doesn't run itself either.
Yeah, well, it's about time we sat down and did some serious talking. I consider my haulage business a lot more important than your stables.
Yes, well, as you might expect, with me it's the other way round, so we'll just have to compromise. I'll help you here as much as I can, but I don't expect you to help me in the stables, do I?
No, because you got Kathy.
Oh, not for today, nor for several days to come. Let's be fair about it. We do have Chris.
And what time do you call this?
Don't start on me, Dad. Right, what's to be done?
Never mind that. What have you been saying to Kathy? She's not in this morning.
Have you heard from her?
I'm surprised you're even interested. Her mother was decidedly off on the phone.
So that's where she is.
You mean you didn't know where she was?
Of course I did. Did she say anything?
Caroline. Just that you and Kathy had had a row.
Right, I'm off on the Halifax run.
There's no need for you to do that. Give it to one of the casual drivers.
No, I'd rather do it. Get away from the place for a few hours.
Just a minute, son. If you're the reason that Kathy's not in work, we'd like to know why.
Look, Dad, what happens between me and Kathy is our business. Now, if you don't mind, I've got work to do.
Listen, love, do you want me to phone the wool pat and tell him I want the day off?
No, I'll be all right now, Mum. At least I've got Elsa here.
If you take my advice, Kath, you'll resign from that job. I don't want you anywhere near home farm.
I can't do that, Mum. I promised Kim that whatever happened between me and Chris, it wouldn't affect my work.
That was before all this happened, Kath. Kim should be told what he tried to do. You know, if Elsa had her way, she'd still ring the police.
Look, I just want it left. I'll decide what must be done, okay?
Yeah, all right, love. Listen, why don't you go and get in my bed and try and get some sleep? You obviously didn't get much last night.
Yeah, I will. Thanks, Mum. Look, I'm really sorry about all this mess, you know.
Listen, don't you blame yourself. But don't go back there, Kath. Promise me that.
Well, I'll stay. I've got nowhere else to go.
You can stay here. You can have my room. I know Nick and Elsa will be only too glad to have you.
What about you? Where will you go then?
Don't worry about me, Kath. My mind's been made up for me. I'll move into the wool pack. I can just see Alan Turner's face.
Morning, gentlemen. There we are, Dolly. They've left the keys in the office.
Well, Charlie has been generous. It's smashing, Eric. I wouldn't mind this myself.
Yes. Well, it's nice to know I'm being appreciated at long last. What the devil?
What are you doing, Eric? Everyone's staring at us.
Well, I was just trying to open the door.
Perhaps this isn't your car.
Well, of course it's mine. What other car is there?
I hate to tell you this, Eric, but I think this is your vehicle. See the registration number? Well, a moustache. Can't stay here all day.
You wait till I see Emmerdale. I'm a council official and I deserve council official treatment.
Yes, well, I'll see you, Eric.
Are you going out? I was hoping to have a word.
No time. I am way behind schedule as it is.
Alan, I have apologised for getting in late.
Have I said anything? But I do think we agreed when I took you on that 9 o'clock would be our starting time. 10:15 when you strolled in here.
Alan, I did not stroll in. As a matter of fact, I've got a lot on my mind at the moment, and that's why I want to tell you I've reached a decision.
Well, do you think I haven't got a lot on my mind? Worries about the fish farm, worries about the brewery. I was up at 6:30 this morning, Caroline.
I'm up at 6:30 every morning, Alan.
Ever for?
I get Nick's breakfast before he does his paper round, tidy up, get Elsa's breakfast, and then I get ready to come here.
That's ridiculous. Nick and Elsa are quite old enough to get their own breakfast.
Look, Alan, they were kind enough to put me up. The least I can do is pull my weight.
There is an obvious solution. You move in here. But no, you're too stubborn to do it.
That's what I want to say to you.
There's no time now. I'm going to see Henry Brooks. I'll be back by closing time.
But, Alan, I've something to tell...
Morning, Joe.
Hi.
Look, I'm ever so grateful.
Ah, don't mention it. I wanted to ride anyway. Besides, I don't want to take Saint out yet.
How is he?
A lot better, thanks. But can't risk him getting lame again. Time to get him fit for the point-to-point and beat you.
Have you heard about Kathy? She's moved out.
Moved out where?
Living at Dendyke for the time being.
What's all that about then?
Oh, search me. Chris is being very guarded about it. Mind you, it's me that has to suffer. I'm in trouble with Frank over it.
Oh, I see. The typist, too busy to be tied to the typewriter. Well, don't worry. I'll exercise all the horses for you. In fact, I'll take Dancer out next.
No thanks, Joe. I'll see to Dancer.
Oh, I see. Worried I might nobble her before the big race?
I want to be on the safe side, Mr. Sugden. I fully intend to win that point-to-point, you know.
Well, you should say that, Mrs. Tate. That's exactly what I've got in mind.
Kim, the Yardley contract, he's on the phone. Where is it, love?
Morning, Frank. Nice day for a ride?
Yeah, morning, Joe. It's urgent, love.
Right.
Sorry about this, Joe.
No problem. I'll be off then.
OK. Better go and be the efficient secretary. Thanks again.
See you later.
So you've been up to Monk's Brewery, then?
Aren't I a man of my word, Alan?
Yes, of course, Henry. I'd never think otherwise.
I was up there at the brewery in person this morning.
So what did they say? Will they supply the wool pack again? Can we get the beer?
Hang on, one step at a time.
Yeah, well, please get to the point, old chap. This means a lot to me.
I think it was a very successful interview, but there are one or two minor details.
Minor details? What sort of minor details?
Well, although monks were very kindly disposed towards the idea, they felt they couldn't make a final decision till they'd been to the Woolpack and met you.
Oh, well, that's fine.
And Mrs. Bates.
Oh, dear. Well, I haven't persuaded her to move in yet.
I've done your room, Henry, and I've made your bed.
Oh, I'd have done that, Annie.
It's nearly dinner time, Henry. In this house, we make beds long before dinner time.
Oh, I'm very sorry, Annie.
Good morning, Alan. I suppose you've got Caroline doing all your work for you, have you?
Henry, I can't have monks going round until I've persuaded her to move in. You know how they like to have living-in couples running their pubs?
Well, you'll have to do something because I said she would be moving in. Soon.
Soon? Henry, Caroline is a very stubborn woman. She has to be coaxed and cajoled and got down on one knee to and downright begged.
A bit like Annie Sugden, you mean? Can't you tell Caroline that she's got to move in? I mean, part of the job and all that.
Henry, you cannot tell Caroline Bates anything.
She is like Annie, then.
Good ride.
Yes, thanks.
What did you think of her horse? You're going to win the point-to-point?
She wouldn't let me ride it.
No flies on Kim Tate, eh?
No. Oh, have you heard?
No. Do I want to?
Kathy, she's moved out of her own farm.
What do you mean she's moved out?
Well, so Kim said. Apparently she had another row with Mr. High and Mighty Christopher Tate and slung a hook.
Is she all right?
I suppose so. She's gone to Nick and Elsa's.
Well, what happened? Did Kim say?
No, didn't give any details, just that she's moved out and gone to Demdike.
Oh, it's not before time. If he's upset at the little creep...
Hey, Jack, I'd stay out of it if I were you.
Well, don't you think I ought to go around and see her? Yeah, all right. I'll keep my nose out.
Oh, here he comes at last.
Caroline, what on earth are the sanitary inspectors doing here?
Sanitary
Shh,
inspectors?
keep your voice down. There's a council van outside. I hope you've told them our kitchens are spotless.
Oh, she has, old boy, but they wouldn't believe her. They've condemned your new kitchen already.
They haven't. Have they?
I don't know what he's on about.
It's all right, old chum. The van's mine. Only borrowed, of course. I'm on the track of a spanking new one. Free, of course. Perks of the job.
Oh, thank heaven for that. Oh, see, I haven't got enough to worry about.
How did Henry get on with monks?
Oh, no, if I might just have a word in your shell, like.
Alan, I hope you're not trying to butter me up.
Watch him, Caroline. He's crawling again. Cheers.
I'm sorry to have been such a long time, but, you know, talking to Henry and berating Seth for an hour, it all takes time.
OK, but we do have a pub to run, you know. I can't do it all on my own.
No, of course not. I promise you it won't happen again. Look, well, when we close up, and I promise I'll do all the clearing up and everything, why don't I open a nice bottle of something and we go out back and put our feet up and have a nice long chat?
What about, Alan? Listen, if it's about me moving in...
No, whatever gave you that idea? I'll just pop out back there and make sure it's all cosy.
Kathy's moving in.
Shh. There's no need to shout. She'll hear.
Well, I wish somebody would keep me informed, Elsa. Why?
And let's just say she's had trouble with Christopher. And I'm not telling you what. Kathy must tell you herself if she wants to.
But what about Mum? We haven't got room for the whole of Beckingdale.
She made up her mind this morning. She's moving into the Woolpack.
Honestly, you go to work, you come home, and there's a different set of faces.
Look, I'm sorry, Nick. I really am.
Oh, don't worry, Kath. I'm sorry. Go and have your tea.
Yeah, I'll go get it. I'm not really hungry, thanks, Elsa.
You've got to get something down you.
I thought there was something wrong when you came round this morning. Do you want to talk to me about it?
Haven't you seen Chris today?
I've not seen any of the Tates, Kath. Been too busy. Have you had a row?
Camping, you?
And what's wrong with that?
All night?
Why not?
Don't make fun of it, Rachel. Very serious business is camping.
Thank you, Henry.
Nah, he's too fond of his creature comforts, Henry. Stuck in a drafty tent all night, on your own. Come off it.
Look, who says I'll be on my own?
Aye, here come the sordid details.
All right. If you must know, I'm going away with some of my friends. We thought we'd try it out. But I need a tent, Joe.
Well, don't look at me. I've got money to chuck away on your whims. Besides, I agree with you, Rachel. he'll come crawling back in the middle of the night, crying out for his own bed.
The lad needs encouragement. Talk to Jack. He's fond of camping.
Yeah, and he's got a 10. Why don't you borrow that? Anyway, when's all this happening?
Oh, I don't know. But if you can go away for the weekend, I don't see why I can't.
No, well, I'm not going away this weekend now.
You never told me. What's happened?
It's Michael. He's still not very well.
That lad should see somebody.
Yeah.
Ah, Caroline, my dear. You look quite charming this evening, if I may say so.
Thank you. You look quite charming yourself.
Oh. Well, as we seem to be rather quiet, would you care for a sherry?
No, thank you, Alan.
Well, not an Amontillado or a gin and tonic, perhaps?
Look, if you're after something, Alan, why don't you just come right out with it?
After something? Why should I be after something? Well, and if I were honest...
Come on, get it off your chest.
Well, I don't like to bring the subject up again, but it's about you moving in. Have you thought any more about it?
I've thought of nothing else, Alan. I've thought about it morning, noon and night, and it's a very big step to take. I mean, we did try it before, remember? Wasn't exactly a bed of roses, was it?
Well, it wasn't all that bad. I mean, we had our moments.
Still a bit risky.
Caroline, have you thought of the advantages? A huge room all to yourself, wardrobe space in abundance, a view like no other across the dales at the back. It'll be light and airy in the summer and warm and cosy when the weather turns inclement. And you'll be up there like a squirrel with his nuts, her nuts.
Will I?
Yeah, and there'll be no getting up early in the morning to make Nick and Elsa their breakfast.
Just yours, Alan.
And no getting up at night to feed the baby.
Elsa does that.
Caroline, it will be paradise regained. And you'll have your own room, your own little domain. I'll be at the other end of the passage with my door securely locked.
You really do want me to move in, don't you, Alan?
But just for the company, my dear, any of the company.
Nothing to do with Monk's Brewery?
Hurtful thing to say. Well, I mean, if that's what you think.
It's all right, Alan. I've made my decision. You've persuaded me. I'll do it.
You will? I knew you would.
Hey, Alan, none of that. Strictly business, OK?
Yeah, strictly business. I'll just go and make a phone call.
Oh, she hasn't eaten a thing.
No.
What's going on, Elsa? I couldn't get anything out of Kath.
Look, Nick, she'll tell you herself when she wants to. Just give her some time.
Well, can't you tell me?
Not really. Her and Christopher have had a bit of a do. I can't say much more than that.
Who then? All right.
You'll have the door down.
I want to come in, Nick. Where's Kathy? I know she's here.
Hey, look, hang on a minute, Chris. This is my house.
Look, don't be pathetic. I want to see Kathy and I want to see her now.
Hey, look, hang on. She might not want to see you.
Look, I've got a right to see her now. Just let me go.
Hey.
Pass.
After what you did to her last night, you've no rights at all.
You haven't been listening to her, have you? I haven't committed any crime, you know.
Oh, no. Trying to force yourself on someone against their will is a very serious crime.
Is that what you did?
Of course not. That's what she told you. She's got a very vivid imagination.
You attacked her. You attacked my sister.
You're going to regret that, Nick.
Get out of my house.
You're going to be out of a job tomorrow, Nick.